Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Gargoyles episode reviews. Today we're looking at Eye of the Beholder. Happy early Halloween. Welcome to one of my all-time favorite episodes, Eye of the Beholder. Spoilers. In this episode, David Xanatos proposes to Fox, who agrees. They seal the deal with the Eye of Odin. It's no coincidence that right after, were-fox sightings appear around the city. Elisa meets the creature face to hairy face, but it's up to Xanatos and Owen to save Fox before the Eye destroys her. She's not too hot on the idea, though, or rather where Fox isn't. Missed last week's episode? Well, it's nowhere near as good as today's Red Fox episode, but it was the Silver Falcon. Spoilers in the 2020 moments. Info from Ask Greg is in the According to Greg bits. Season 2, Episode 7, Eye of the Beholder. Reasons for existence, possibly spoilery. Here to explore the theme of love, to advance the David/Fox relationship, to introduce the Eye of Odin again, but to actually introduce its powers. To show that the clan and Xanatos can work together, to show that Goliath is wiser than he seems. Sometimes. Main antagonists. Fox, David Xanatos by complete accident this time. Times, October 1st through the 31st, 1995. Locations, New York City, New York. Previously, on Gargoyles, we're reminded that Xanatos has the Eye of Odin back in his private collection during The Edge. We're also reminded that he and Fox are an item as they kiss in the limo in Leader of the Pack, in his Xanatos tag ending. Ooh, this all bodes wonderfully well. A Xanatos and Fox episode, sign me up. Forget the ring. We open in the great hall of the castle. I love when we open on the eerie building. We jump right into the action. David and Fox are having a tux and gown dinner for two. And again, he looks great in that tuxedo. Owen is playing butler tonight. You gotta wonder if, Xanatos beforehand says, all right, Owen, today I need a chauffeur, or tonight I need a butler, and he goes and puts on his appropriate costume. It just cracks me up. Xanatos is smiling over his coffee/tea at Fox. Marry me, he announces. And he's looking her in the eye over his hands there. Total confidence. You're doing it right. Gotta love this self-satisfied prick sometimes. It's telling that Fox is surprised, but only just. Are you serious? She says. David's response is classic. It makes perfect sense to get married. We're genetically compatible, highly intelligent, and share the same goals. Don't you just love how he compliments himself at the same time he compliments Fox? He's 100% accurate, of course. What about that genetically compatible line? David Xanatos wants to be a dad? Well, he does enjoy shaping people's lives. He also enjoys having people around him who are loyal and who look up to him. The kind of people everybody wants around them. Still, the great trickster and antagonist having a kid, that's just, it's really intriguing. Leave it to the groundbreaking writers at Gargoyles to rewrite the rules of antagonists in American animated series. Who else but they would give the antag a love interest with whom he has a completely healthy relationship? Who else but they would give said antagonist a kid? Well, at least the desire for one so far. 2020 moment. I assume when Xanatos says genetically compatible that he means both Fox and he have superior genes. Because, they're both human. She's half and half. But that's still, he doesn't know that yet. So he's pretty sure they're both human. And, that usually works out fairly well. He's accurate, as they are both fine specimens of humanity, mentally and physically. It would be interesting to see what Fox's genetic code looks like, though. Being half Fae, it might look different. Or would it? Does the Fae power reside in the DNA, or in the soul, spirit, life force? The Nephilim of ancient history were half human, half son of God. They created the mighty men of old, the heroes, the giants, Obviously, the DNA was affected. How different is it with the Fae/human offspring? Fae and humans have no problem interbreeding so long as the Fae, again, I'm assuming all this, are in human form. Now, we know Puck is fully human when he's acting as Owen, or at least that's what Greg has said. Now, he's not just wearing a glamour. He's not just shapeshifted on the outside. Is this what Titania did as Anastasia, or was she just, shifted to look human? I don't know. According to Greg, I say this every time there's a Fox/David ep, but Greg is still amazed. He got the relationship past the big bosses and S&P at Disney. They didn't realize that a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship could turn into engagement, which would lead to marriage, which would lead to, a kid. Well, that's our game. And I guess that should probably be a 2020 moment too, but whatever. Not like you haven't seen this. Fox asks, what about love? She's kind of giving him the side eye there, almost kidding around with him. She sounds like she doesn't think it's anything to worry about, but everybody else seems to, so just so we're on the same page, okay, David? And he replies, I think we love each other as much as two people such as ourselves are capable of that emotion. According to Greg. And this is going to be probably a really long episode review because I've got so many of these little side comments in here. Because I love this episode. According to Greg, Xanatos should by this time know he loves Fox. I'll point out his line in Leader, it's Leader of the Pack. True love is so much harder to come by. Maybe he said the truth in the heat of the moment, and now he's reconsidering in order to save his view of himself. Greg says David considers himself too amoral to be capable of love. I don't know, I mean, love can be pretty self-seeking too. Yeah, anyway, I admit, love from a person with Fox and David's personality type is far different from the average person's. I totally get it though. It's a devotion, a fierce loyalty, a desire to protect and to help the object of their affection. They say that real love is wanting the best for the other person. So, I don't think you have to be particularly moral for that. But maybe I'm wrong. Owen opens a box containing the Eye of Odin. It's to seal the deal, says Xanatos. Proposal accepted, Fox decides. I've heard some people say that this is a lame proposal plan, one not worthy of Xanatos. Oh, really? Do tell how a private, elegant, direct proposal with its reason based on logic and common interest is not Xanatosian. Xanatos isn't going to mince words. He has intense respect for Fox. His actions stem from this attitude. In this proposal scene, he is 100% the charming, ambitious man Fox fell in love with. 2020 moment, / according to Greg. 9 months after this night, Alexander Fox Xanatos is born. Take that, S&P. And heck, who wouldn't accept a marriage offer from Xanatos, the richest man on Earth? He's brilliant and easy on the eyes. Anyway, so moving on. Store run. At Mr. Joffe's general store, oh, that poor man, things are about to get real. Joffe flees as store goods fly out the windows. Poor guy, first an armed robber, and now whatever this is. And there's Elisa coming in to save the day. That's really a neat scene. Like a pop can rolls by, and that's all she sees when she comes in at first. Elisa is conveniently nearby. She investigates without waiting for backup. What else is new? The store looks like a horde of hungry college students attacked it. Ever the wise one, Elisa follows the sound of chewing and growling. She finds a werewolf. Oh, and the werewolf is wearing the Eye of Odin. Lovely. Huh. It is the Gargoyles after all. Elisa learns not to interrupt a werebeast's binge. The creature knocks the pistol out of Elisa's hand and pins her against a pile of flour bags. Elisa whacks the beast over the head with said flour. Hey, nobody light a match, because that stuff will blow like gas fumes. Fun fact. Backup arrives, but the werewolf is suddenly gone. That's a neat picture. The angle is basically from the werefox's feet, looking up as she's got Elisa by the jacket. I gotta say, that's a cool werebeast. It's cut and ripped, has great hair, and is apparently intelligent. None of this stupid Harry Potter gangly geek werewolf stuff. Officer Morgan tells Elisa he can't get through the shift this month without cleaning up after the beast. That's a lot of food. Xanatos and Owen are watching Travis Marshall's news report on the incident. Remember Travis Marshall from The Edge? First sighting was October 4th. Okay, well, 2020 moment here. Why the delay from back, I believe it was October. It was October 4th. And he gave her the eye around October 1st, I think, according to the Station 8. Anyway. They're not at all surprised to see this incident, as this has been a common news story. Now, isn't this beast thing setting the city in a panic? I guess not. After all, the city doesn't even blink when robot gargoyles attack multiple times. Fox pads in, barefoot and in a trench coat. Is this normal? Because the boys act like it's totally normal to have her wandering through the office in this state. What kind of life do you people lead? Never mind. I'm about to find out, aren't I? Nice. You get the camera shot from Owen and David's perspective looking between them at Fox. And there's that darn plant in the background that I hate so much. I don't hate it. It's just out of the ordinary. And, why did she come right through the office if she wants to hide? I mean, that's like, hey guys, look, there's no other ways to get to wherever she's going in that place? Yeah, doubt it. Xanatos tactfully asks where she's been, quote, hiding herself, and if she has the Eye of Odin on. She says she's been on a walk. Where in that outfit? Central Park? To flash people? And all night? Look, when a man gets you out of prison early and says he missed you, he probably expects some honesty, or at least a semi-believable answer as to why you look like this. She looks rather unsettled, but plays it off as she must be getting sick. And then she exits through a side door that I have never seen before in that office. And this is his main, usual office. Is it a back entrance to the living quarters? David and Owen exchange a serious look. Time for plan A, Xanatos says. Really, you have your plans officially lettered now? Like, for most people, it's just a concept, not an actual title. And another good shot with the boys there. Owen is as expressive as a brick wall throughout the scene. Man, I love these guys. I really do. And now, at the clock tower, Elisa is telling the gargoyles about her adventure. Goliath semi-freaks out, blaming himself because he wasn't there. After the mirror adventure, where they were able to express and grow in their feelings for each other, Goliath is more willing to show his bond with Elisa. Elisa says it's important for him to protect her. It's impossible for him to protect her at all times, just as it is impossible for her to protect them all the time. Everyone's vulnerable, she says. Foreshadowing. Question. How did the gargoyles not encounter the werebeast before? If today is Halloween, and this has been going on all month, and it's been going all over the news, shouldn't they have crossed paths? The Genutech subjects got loose, and the Garg spot them in about 4 seconds. A werebeast runs rampant, eating the town out of Hassenholm, and they don't notice? I would have thought Broadway would have considered this top priority after all. The trio is more interested in the fact that it's Halloween, where they can walk the streets freely. This, I think, comes from their taste of community during the mirror. Animal magnetism. Back at the castle, Fox is in her room, which was bigger than my entire house, by the way, watching the moon through her open window. She's in dread of something. As the moon rises, she looks at her hands. Oh, I have seen enough werewolf movies to guess what's happening next. Xanatos walks in. Oh, yeah, well, that was unexpected. And it was unexpected for Fox, too. He announces that he wants to get the Eye of Odin engraved. Oh, he is nothing if not tactful. He's going to have to wait, though. Fox begins to transform into the were-fox that Elisa met. It's a fantastic transformation, it really is. Quick, impressive. Clenching the eye as pink light streams between her fingers, she reaches, with the last of her humanity, toward David. Now fully werebeast, she rips off what shreds remain of the trench coat. And not green light. We have a picture of all that happening. Yeah, I don't know why the light is pink. Not really what I would have imagined. Xanatos is gaping, stunned, speechless, except for the obligatory "What?" If this wasn't a family show, he'd be saying something else, I think. Seeing his fiancée turn because of a gift he gave her must be heart-wrenching. Here's a picture of him totally shocked. And there's like a blue background behind him. Interestingly enough, it's almost like a comic book. When you're so shocked, you need your own background, is the caption. He was semi-expecting this, though, so he recovers in record time. Whipping out a pistol, he shoots a dart into her shoulder. She roars, but pulls it out and proceeds to throw him down on the bed. Whoa, now, going primal. Fox is on top of him, holding him down. Even Xanatos might be out of his league here, and he knows it. According to Greg, I'll just quote the memo where he says, "There's some powerful primal energies swirling around that room. Lucky thing Owen is there, or I'm not sure Xanatos escapes with his dignity intact." Forget dignity. He might not escape with his life intact. Showing amazing control, he calmly calls Owen in. Owen bursts in and fires a dart into Fox's back. See, this is why you always have backup. Owen's life is never dull. And it's like he's totally expecting this. I mean, was he like watching it on the camera or something? I mean, come in earlier then, buddy. And there's Fox sliding back off of David, leaving claw marks right up to his shoulders in the bed. Not exactly how he expected life with Fox to go. Pretty sure being in bed together didn't mean this. Meantime, David rips a curtain off the four-poster and tosses it over Fox. He tackles her legs, leaving an unfortunate Owen to grapple with her top half. She flings them both across the room. Hope you boys didn't like having your ribs in one piece. Yeah, I see who drew the short straw here tonight. And there's them trying to hold a werewolf down. Probably not the best idea, but I don't think it was really planned that way. Totally spur of the moment. Kind of smart, though, I guess. Then she lopes off, tears the elevator open, bowls over Bruno and his Xanatos Enterprises security forces, and explodes out a window. I mean, she is strong. Well, that didn't go quite to plan. In Xanatos' office, Owen is at the widescreen, analyzing the data from the tracker he shot Fox with. Apparently, Xanatos' didn't work, or maybe he just had like a trank in that one or something. I don't know. It gives info on her metabolism, which is sky high. He says that if it continues at this rate, she'll burn out before morning. She'll die, he says. Wow, this is a Disney show? I love it. Now, I'm assuming they lucked out and caught her like at the 11th hour here, because remember, she's been going werebeast mode like every night, or at least every one of Morgan's shifts, since the 4th, I guess, of this month, so that's a lot. 2020 moment. Goliath did not have this issue when he turned into the Protector after donning the eye. Wonder if he eventually would have developed an overactive metabolism. After all, he was a giant. And there's a picture of Owen looking at the screen. It looks like we got a little heat signature pattern, and then we've got some like just monitor vitals data. It says temp is 108, heart rate is 220, BP it just says 260. I don't know where the diastolic went on that. That's the bottom number. She's going to fry her brain, kill her heart, and have a stroke at this rate. And how is this even being measured? I'm assuming it's like nanotechnology, because you don't get blood pressure just from having a dart sticking in your back. Xanatos turns away from Owen, looking downcast and slightly worried. This is the first time I've seen this in David. He desperately tries to avoid showing emotion about Fox, instead claiming he'd never have just given the eye away if he knew its powers. Roughly translated, in my opinion, crap, it's all my fault. We already know how much he loves Fox, even if he won't admit it. Nobody goes through all the trouble he did in Leader of the Pack to get a person out of jail a few months early if they don't love said person, especially when he flat out said that that's why he helped her. And there he is, looking downcast while Owen dials Elisa. It's refreshing yet sobering to see someone who's always in control and tough get taken down a few notches. Seeing real emotion other than satisfaction and amusement in him is also welcome. He's got to be thinking about what life would be like without Fox and how it would be his doing. It's not a pleasant mental tour. Now it's time for Plan B. Owen calls Elisa with an anonymous tip of where to find the werefox. Plan B of A, B, and C, and D. Xanatos gears up and flies out, using his exo-armor's onboard GPS to track Fox's beacon. He's going in without the Steel Clan backup. The only explanation I can come up with is he's worried they might injure or even kill Fox. And there he is in his armor, and he finds her at Felicitas Meats. It's established in 1934 per the sign. She's devouring a side of beef. Now, I can totally sympathize with her. Some days you just want to eat a raw cow. The entire cow. Yeah. Good thing he is a huge fan of trackers. That's all I can say. That he had them all ready to go. And he's got the same rifle that the Xanatos security crew had. Side note, why doesn't she just order in a bunch of food to her room? It's not like anybody would notice. David stalks in wearing full exo armor. And by the way, that big old rifle is a trank gun. It's, I don't know why it's so big. I don't know. It's no surprise to him that she's here. He predicted that her hummingbird-like metabolism would force her to eat almost constantly. Yeah, so what's the rest of America's excuse? He sneaks through the forest of hanging meat. I mean, if you can call it sneaking when he's got metal feet there. While Fox hunts him, hides from him, it's kind of hard to tell. Until Fox bursts out from between the slabs of meat, chews a chunk out of the armor's right shoulder, and throws him into a pole. There's from his point of view there, we've got his little reticle over a very angry Fox. Oops. With his visuals fried, David removes his helmet. I don't know if I would do that or not. Fox is on him before he can stand. In an incredible show of trust, confidence, and resignation, he closes his eyes and turns his head as she roars and slobbers over him. And when you're so hot, even werewolves won't eat you. Fox gets a good look at the purty man before her. The werebeast's white eyes turn blue, Fox's eye color. David and Fox's relationship is real, and it's strong. With a screaming howl, she gallops off. How many of her actions is she aware of? Is she running away because she almost killed her lover? Yeah, it looks that way. You know, I really wish we could have gotten more backstory about Fox in this ep. A better understanding of her history, her fears, her hopes, her dreams would give this transformation into a beast more meaning. And she's got blue eyes, but only when the animators remember. Otherwise, she's got green eyes. Just watch the show if you don't believe me. David looks determined and pissed off as he recovers. I love how he's more determined than ever to save her there. Fox lands outside after jumping out the window. And you gotta wonder, I mean, what was he expecting, like, at that? Like, he didn't even, say, wow, that was close or anything like that. It's just sort of like, oh, well, here we go again. Fox looks up and catches Goliath's foot in her face. If I were Elisa, I would be pissed that Goliath is deciding to kick a werewolf in the face while carrying me. He's got her in his arms there. Halftime. I am loving this episode. It's almost all Xanatos, Owen, and Fox. How novel is it to see David losing his control, losing his composure, and losing his girlfriend? The situation is forcing him to show his love for her. He's risking his life and Owen's life, but both men are more than willing to put their necks on the line for her. What a woman and what man. I love seeing characters who seem to have it all together and who are the strong ones struggle to save their loved ones, because the emotional force of that situation is gripping. And they usually grow quite a lot through that. Now that the clan is involved, things are about to get even more interesting. Tune in next time to see how many plans Xanatos has to go through before he rescues his mate from herself. How about you? Did you like the episode so far? Did it kind of go as you planned, or were you surprised at how many near-death episodes that Xanatos has here? Anyway, you can comment here. You can comment on the blog. Remember to like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.